right, hello, welcome to Grim and Perilous Plays. We're playing Heart tonight, and this is Adam's channel, but I'm gonna mute him because he's not allowed to talk. Because we just agreed I was just gonna talk for 2 hours on any subject that I care to talk about. But no, we're playing Heart tonight, City Beneath, that Jeremy has been lusting after for 2 years. Adam's been lusting after for a year. Chuck and I, we played it before, but everyone else is new. But yeah, we're gonna do some like session zero stuff. We're gonna finish characters. We're gonna do some landmark sanctum building stuff, and time permitting, start some delve play. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how fast we get through all that other stuff. I don't know. You got any plugs or anything you want to hit? You want to hit up, Adam?
Uh, sure. Yeah, we're just excited as ever to play this for the first time. Keep an eye on our website because we've got a lot of things coming down the pike. But the newest thing that we've got coming out soon is Beyond the Fire Volume 2. And if you go to the website, grimandperilous.com, there's plenty of links there for all the products, and you'll be able to find that. So, yeah, I'll just put that in here because I don't think we have any commands put in on this channel yet because I've been lazy. So
yeah, Chuck's exploring the common ones right now, and they don't seem to be working. Okay, all right. Let's see. I mean, do we want to do like I guess let's just dive in. We don't need to do any kind of introductions or anything yet because no one really has characters yet. So we're gonna just dive into character creation. Most of you have already started, I think. If you haven't started, no big deal. We'll get through it. But we're just going to go through this. And yeah, there's a lot to do. And there's a lot of like these random questions. Heart is a game that's... it's a storytelling game. They talk about that a lot in the in the rule book and the core rule book about this is a game that's sort of driven by narrative, like it's narrative first, story first, etc. But there are mechanics and rules and things like that, and different sorts of ways to play. And there are different abilities and skills and all that kind of stuff that you would see in any other role playing game you play. So we'll dive through it all. The basic setting for the game is everything's subterranean, so the city beneath is literally a city underneath, like Spire, which is the previous game that this was like a spin-off of. And we are just going to be making delvers or characters that are doomed. They're all going to die by the end of this run, one way or the other, in some kind of fashion, usually around 8 to 10 sessions or something like that. And they descend deeper and deeper into the heart, and they explore. Heart is this big, massive, like sort of underground subterranean dungeon is too simple of a word, but it's like this whole like realm, and the truth of the heart of what it actually is varies from game to game. So in one person's game or in one group's game it might be one thing, in a different group's game it could be something else entirely. But it combines a lot of stuff, some fantasy, some horror, some sci-fi. It's like we can kind of weave it together based upon what people pick, and what sort of interests us. So every one of you should have character sheets. If you want to pull up character sheets, and even if you've already done all this, we'll just sort of walk through this to make sure there's no mistakes or anything like that. But we're going to start with Ancestry. So there are 4 ancestries that you can choose from in Heart, and the entire underground realm of the city beneath it's sparse. There's not a ton of people down here, and where they are, it's usually these small little tight communities in various places. There's different tiers or levels of depth within the heart. Tier 1 is the closest to the surface, and then Tier 2, and then Tier 3, and then Tier 4 is the heart itself, which is some strange kind of alien, angelic, heavenly type place, who knows, where all time and space and different things are happening. So the 4 choices you have are High Elves, or the Aelfir. They wear masks. They have interesting names, or like we were talking about this ahead of time. They have like phrases, like hyphenated phrases as their names. They are one of the 2 major ancestries that are in Spire, which is the city above. The other being Drow, or Dark Elves. Then there's Gnolls, which are... They've kind of got like a Tales of the Arabian Nights vibe to them in some ways, / like technological sophistication in some ways. And then just humans, just good old humans, and they're humans. So one of those four you can pick. None of them have any mechanical impact on your character, meaning there's nothing that's associated with it. There's no buffs to skills, no buffs to domains, anything like that. So it's really just like whatever flavor you want. But there are a couple like flavor items and questions that you get and have to answer during character creation. So for those of you who have picked, Adam, you've picked, right? So we can start with you, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so you've picked what? Drow? Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So if you look, I'll share this all with you. I got this character creation doc. If you haven't seen it, I just shared it with all of you. So I'm just going to be moving down this document one bit at a time. You'll notice that there's like a little, the very first table there that's got Ancestry in one column and Roll Table in the other. Mm-hmm. You can bring up the Drow Roll Table if you want right now, and we'll see what your flavor items are.
Okay.
So
I'm looking at the table now.
Roll it twice.
First one.
Okay, so you got a bag of statuettes depicting the many, a gang of refugee gods. So
cool.
That's one of the items you have. Just flavorful item that you use in whatever way you see fit. And you also have a battered leather mask. So you can go ahead and on anywhere on your sheet, usually probably down in the notes section, you can just type those in. There's no like item or object to drag and drop. So you can go ahead and do that there. And then the next thing, if you look at the actual Ancestry handout page, you'll notice there's a couple of questions that you're supposed to ask as well. Or excuse me, you're supposed to answer. And so you have to answer one of these three questions whenever you make your character. So it says you have to make a choice whether or not you want to be born in the city above, born in the city beneath, meaning down here in the heart, or you're a traveler from a distant land. So you pick one of those three, and then you kind of answer the question that follows.
Okay.
Is anybody else picking Drow, by the way?
Yeah, I'm Drow.
I was.
Oh, 4 of us.
Okay. All right. So let's just go by the overlay then. Chuck, roll for your items.
Size die? D6?
It's on the
it.
There's a roll table. Just hit the roll table.
Oh, I did not do that. That's okay.
That's fine. That's everyone gets one mistake, and then and I cut you off. That's your one.
Okay.
Jeremy's good. But yeah, if you look on the character creation doc, you'll see the roll table. Oh God, there it is. Just that's where they're supposed to be. The puns right there in the chat. All right, Chuck, hit us up with your starting items.
I see it.
Chuck, you got a yeast mother, and you have to name it. Yeah.
What the hell is a yeast mother?
I read that as like a starter yeast for like
a sourdough
starter. That's how I'm picturing it.
I was hoping
you have to name it. And then you have a deck of fortune cards, of Mallory fortune cards.
I'm up with a yeast mother. Oh my gosh.
Okay, and then you also have to answer the three questions, or excuse me, one of the three questions, like if you were born in the city above, beneath, or in distant lands. Mike, you want to hit the roll table twice?
And all of that's going to be in notes?
Yes, I would put all of that just in the notes section of the character sheet.
Nice, I got a nice warm hand-knitted scarf and gloves.
Oh, well, that's very convenient.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, that's really nice, actually. Very useful.
And then...
Small collection of half-stand horror sensationalist pulp literature to go along with it. So on those cold, lonely nights in the city beneath, you have gloves to keep you warm, and you have literature to read. So it should be great. And then, Steven, you're the last one, I think? The last of the Drow?
All right. I was really hoping for that one. I really was.
Okay. You get another one, too. You get two.
Yeah. I'm savoring here. I'm savoring.
We don't have time for savoring. Let's go. You have 2 friendly but stupid pocket mice.
All right, so my character's name is Zenobe, and I'm naming the first pocket mouse Zenobe, and I'm naming the second pocket mouse Zenobe.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep. Okay. All right, that's your one. That's your one. Okay. All right. So that's our Drow. We'll come back in a second as you all figure out your answers to your ancestry questions. Jeremy, I know you're done. Given Jen a second to look at stuff. You're a Knoll, right, Jeremy?
Yes.
All right. You want to pull up your Knoll roll table?
All right, I'm gonna roll my Knoll rolls. Go.
Friendly but stupid pocket mouse. I think you should name them Scout.
Because he's so amazing.
Yep. And one of them could be the best Scout, and one of them can be the worst Scout.
I could name one of them Gantu, and then I could stomp on it and kill it.
You probably wouldn't, though, because Gantu is amazing.
So cool.
All right. What'd you get, Jeremy?
I have a tiny sealed box that gets angry when I shake it. I love that so much. And also a poetry anthology with my work in it.
I love that so much. That's fantastic. Okay. I will expect some of your poems by session 2. So you have homework for 2 weeks.
If you can accept juvenile limericks. There once was Noel from Nantucket.
That's better than most of the poetry I read. So it's all good. And then for Knowles, you have to answer one of the following questions, and it's sort of a similar concept. So you pick one of these like sort of 3 categories, and then you answer the follow-up question. So you traveled to the Heart in search of something, or you fled the Spire, which is again the city above. Heart is it's like a spin-off of a different game. Or you were born down here in the Heart. And so whichever one of those 3 things you think you want to be, answer the sub-questions within those 3 categories.
I need to find a way to zoom in on it so I can read it better.
I popped mine out, and it got a little bigger.
Yeah, there's a pop-out option at the top of the window.
I did that, but it keeps it tiny even if I max out the screen size. I'll figure it out.
All right. Jen, do you know what you want to be?
I want to be a high elf.
Okay, so let's start with the roll table. You get to, so if you want to pull up the roll table for the Elfir, the high elf stuff, you can roll on that twice. Okay. Sacred symbols of the old gods outlawed in the city above, and then a finger bone necklace. Those are your 2. Again, these are just so there's different types of items in the game. There's actual equipment, which has a mechanical, impact on like assigning stress to certain things. So like doing damage or affecting a delve, stuff like that. Then there's resources you use to kind of trade and refresh and heal and upgrade elements of your city, or of your sanctum, I should say. And then there's these, which are more flavorful, and they're really for you all to just kind of do with however you please. Like, so it's just like you figure out how they're important to your character. You can pull them out and use them at any point, so it's really just kind of for you all to figure out what you want to do with them. And then Jen, you again have to pick one of 3 questions from that Aelfir list. So again, the Aelfir, the high elves, they wear they tend to wear masks. That's kind of their thing. And you have to answer one of these 3 questions. You still wear your mask. So then if you do, you just sort of describe what it looks like. Or your family was ruined due to some kind of social faux pas, and so you figure out what they did. Or you still cling to one luxury that keeps you centered, and then you kind of describe what that is. So it's just a way to flesh out some backstory there. So one of those 3 questions you have to answer. And again, just drop it in your notes section.
Okay.
All right, Adam. I'm going to come back to the Drow.
Okay.
Did you have an answer for one of your Drow questions?
Yes. Esme was born in the city beneath.
Okay,
And,
city beneath.
her family is going to live in the landmark that we'll build a little bit later.
Yes, perfect. That sounds great.
And they worship the many. Uh-oh.
Okay. Okay. That's like the gang, like the gang of like what was it? It was a god of gangs or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Then Chuck, you're a Drow. Where were you born?
I was born in the Spire, up above.
Okay.
And my 4 years of indentured servitude were cleaning chamber pots for one of the Elfir temples.
Okay. All right. So you were a janitor, basically. All right.
I was a janitor.
All right.
It was a shitty job.
All right. And you were a janitor under a cruel Elfir, high elf, and now you have one in the party.
Yeah.
But we'll see if any of that lingers from above. Mike, did you figure something out for you?
Yeah, I decided that my character is going to come from a distant land, a small village called Hewn Ford. It's a war-torn area, and so he's decided to leave there and search for potentially adventure in the heart.
Okay, that's perfect. That sounds great. So yeah, three different choices there, which means Steven's going to copy one of you because he can't be original.
Yep,
so Steven, what is your unoriginal answer to the question that you had to?
I also am a traveler from a distant land because
wow,
that is
how
the
convenient.
best choice.
How convenient.
Yep. I am from the desert of Alicam, I believe. Is that how you say that? I don't know. I was a magician, like a entertainer type magician, like a showman, street magician, traveling with a caravan, going from town to town, trying to earn a few coins.
How many spells did you
separated? Well, no, I was an illusionist. How about that?
I like how he said he was an entertainer. Yeah. Like you're really gonna have to push the role play there.
Yeah, I know. Nothing about me screams entertainment.
Yeah, that was the joke. That was the joke.
I was agreeing with you. Anyways,
this is what you get for dropping 10 puns today while I was prepping.
Yes, so I was traveling with my caravan and I got lost in the desert, and I drowned in the desert, and that is why I left.
Okay, that sounds great. I mean, it doesn't sound as good as Mike's, but it sounds good. It's good. Okay, Jeremy, do you have an answer for your Noel question?
I couldn't read the Noel page, so I had to go grab my iPad. I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Okay. Jen, do you have an answer to your high elf question?
I know it's going to be mask, but I'm just still trying to think on it.
We can come back to it later. It's no big deal. But yeah, you're still wearing your mask. That's all we need to know for now. Okay. All right.
You good to go, Jeremy? I travel to the heart. And I'll, you know what? You asked me 2 questions, and I'll answer them.
I have to ask you 2 questions? Okay.
Okay, fine.
No, I'll do it. You travel to it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So gnolls have what are called incursion teams. So sometimes so gnolls are not allowed in the city above. Like they're at war. Like this is sort of if there's any kind of canon, that's canon, right? Mm-hmm. So to get into the heart, they usually have to find sneaky ways in there, and they have what are called gnoll incursion teams, and they sneak down into the heart in some ways, and they're trying to, learn bits about the weird technologies that have been left over from the Vermissian and other elements that are down here. So were you part of such a team, or were you kind of on your own?
No, on his own.
Okay, so you're a solo, you're a renegade, you weren't part of an recursion team. Okay. So then when you were heading down into the heart, I'm going to say you were looking for something in particular. What was it?
I think I'm looking for...
This could be either something concrete and tangible or something abstract. It doesn't have to be. So okay. Either or is fine.
I'm looking for... there was an angel that had come up above, but its heart wasn't there with it, so I have to go find its heart in the heart.
Okay. All right. So is that something that you're still looking for, we'll say?
Yes. Like I tore out like the fleshy bit, but the spark wasn't within it.
Okay. So you're looking for an angel heart. Gotcha. All right. So that's it for Ancestry. And again, none of that is really like super mechanically heavy, but the next thing will be. So after that, let's do callings. So in the game, a calling is essentially the reason why you're in the heart, sort of from a sort of broad perspective. And there are 5 different categories that you can pick from, and each one of these will give you an ability. So you'll actually get something that you can use in the game. Callings also dictate what are called beats. So there's no experience in this game. Instead, advancement is handled by completion of beats. Beats are like these mini goals that your character has, and some of them can be very, very simple. And if you role play towards them and accomplish them in a session, you complete a beat and you can buy an ability. And so there's like minor beats, major beats, and zenith beats. And whenever you complete a minor beat, you can then grab a new minor ability. Whenever you complete a major beat, you can grab a major ability. And then zenith beats you want to save for like end game, because that usually signals game's about to end, and so you're probably going to die or transcend, or something's going to happen to you that's going to take your character out of the story in probably a session or 2. So the 5 options are adventure, enlightenment. So adventure is kind of like almost what Mike was describing in a way, the idea of just sort of the general idea of like you're trying to spelunk and find things, and it's not so much about anything more than the sheer act of going and doing anything. Enlightenment is more about like trying to find something about yourself, or trying to find something larger, like you're trying to learn, and maybe the heart itself holds the key to some kind of wisdom that's not there, that you don't yet have. Forced is you'll eventually get masters, or you'll even start off with the concept of masters, like somebody is forcing you down here for reasons, and you get to kind of determine what that is as the game progresses. Heart Song is sort of a quirky one, because Heart Song is more like the idea that you're being driven here by maybe the heart itself. And so it's almost like it's a concept of like it could be like you're going mad. It could be that you're hearing like the heart speak to you or call to you in some way, and that's driving you further and deeper into it. And then Penitent is more along the lines of you're paying off like some sort of debt in some way. And when I say that, I mean like you've done something wrong and you're trying to atone in some fashion. So those are the 5 different options you have. And when you pick one, you get your core ability right off the bat. And so that'll give you something that you can mechanically do in game. But then there will also be a series of questions that you'll have to answer. And these questions we're going to tie to each other, because there's going to be questions that are going to ask you to pick a different character within the group and somehow tie your character to that one. Does anyone have a specific calling that they're interested in?
I do.
Okay, Adam, what are you?
Heart Song.
Heart Song. Anyone else pick Heart Song?
Yeah, I did, because I copy everyone.
Yeah. I mean, Adam, it was a great idea. Steven, I mean, come on, man. Let's go. Think of something better. Okay, so we'll do Heart Song first, since the 2 of you are ready to go. Both of you you get to roll on a table, because you get a new item, just like with Ancestry. So if you go into that character creation document I have, just scroll down to the calling side, and there should be a roll table column. It has all the different tables. So pick up the Heart Song one, and both of you can go ahead and roll.
I'll let Adam go first, so I can prove I don't copy everything.
Or you should copy it.
Mm-hmm. What'd you get there, Adam?
Wouldn't that need to be the other way?
Yeah, an ink-blotted dream journal with maps of places you saw when you were asleep.
Okay, I like it. Okay, that's a really, really good one, Adam.
All right,
that's about as good as it gets right there.
I have the word theologian growing over my upper chest.
Sure. Okay, that's fine, I guess. You deserve it.
I should also tell you that
you deserve it.
The way I created my character is I just went through the book and I copied, like, I took this hat from one character and I took this face from another character and then this weapon from another character, and I made a collage because I couldn't think of anything on my own.
Yeah, there's like a couple other characters I want to get to, if that's okay with you, or do you want to just keep going? Steven.
I mean, I'd
This
like
is
to
what he
keep
did.
talking. I'd like to keep talking.
I wish I could mute you and just you. All right. Let's see. So then the question, we'll come back to the questions once everyone does their table items. So Chuck, do you know what you're doing?
Enlightenment.
Who else? Is anyone else doing enlightenment? All
See,
right,
I'm
Chuck.
so original, Stephen.
I'm glad somebody is, Go ahead and hit your roll table.
Imported book of meditative stanzas and recipes to clean my spirit.
Okay. That's kind of funny. Like, you have a very cleanliness thing going on. You were a janitor, and now you have a book, medicated stances. Yeah, it's not just your physical body that's dirty, but your spirit is.
Yeah.
Mike, what are you picking?
Adventure.
Adventure. Anyone else pick adventure? Okay. Also original.
Also original. Yeah.
Go ahead and hit the roll table. Okay. Unpunched Vermissian ticket used as a good luck charm. So, for those of you who don't know, the Vermissian, there's like a massive tram system that was being built within the heart to explore it. But as you might expect, and if you know anything about the heart, you know that it's ever changing. It's constantly changing. So like no matter, like whatever's down there at one season, the next season due to different people showing up or people being disinterested with a certain location, it's going to change. The heart is a constantly growing and changing place. And so the Vermissian never really took off, but there's still all the residue, and like there's these stations that are still around that you can pop into. There's different tram tracks. And so that's what the Vermissian refers to whenever you see that term. Okay. And then, let's see, Jen, which one did you pick?
I am going enlightenment.
Enlightenment. Go ahead and hit the roll table for your item. Okay. A portable alchemy kit in a leather box. All right. The other thing I'll say is, like, if you can figure out a way to sort of justify certain items, like to give you like a bonus or a boon at some point in the roll, like I'm always willing to sort of hear that later on. Like if it makes sense for you to use one of these weird items that don't have a consistent mechanical impact, if you think that this might help you there, then we can always do it. And then Jeremy, would you pick?
Okay, so now they can actually read stuff. I think I might switch myself up because I'm horrible and I backtrack. I'm gonna say I fled the spire.
Okay.
To avoid persecution.
Okay.
For what may or may not have been charlatan acts, but I'm a penitent.
Okay.
Go ahead and hit your table.
Yeah. Ceremonial bronze watchful eye, all caps.
Oh, how perfect that is! I love that.
All right, so so what you should do if you haven't done this already, you should drag from the calling column. You should drag your calling onto your character sheet. So if you are adventure, drag it onto your character sheet, etc., etc. Because what it's going to do is going to populate some stuff on your character sheet. Now we're going to get into these questions, and you can fill out the ones that aren't necessarily other character related later if you want, but let's just focus on the ones that are like tying different characters together, because each one of these calling questions, a couple of them have to do with trying to target somebody else in the group and then using them for something. So like Mike, I got adventure up right now. So you have actually two questions that are referencing another character in the group. So like one of them, it says you and another character barely escaped from a dangerous situation recently. Who was it and what happened?
Thinking it'd probably be one of the other dark elves. So that narrows it down to 4 people. Any volunteers?
Sure.
Okay, Adam.
Yeah, I don't mind.
All right.
Okay.
So what, Esme, right? Is
Esme, yeah.
Esme. All right. Okay, so we'd seen ourselves in some sort of a sticky situation, and so I think I was the one that probably got him out, figured out how to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here. I want to say that I probably did like a solo delve, found him, and then was able to pull him out of somewhere in the heart.
Okay.
Get him back to a haven.
Where do you think? What do you think you were doing, or where do you think about like you were, Adam, when he saved you?
I was probably passed out next to a heart's blood creature that I had just finished eating.
Oh God. All right. So a heart's blood creature. So basically, what that is, it's like a creature literally formed from sort of the blood and flesh of the heart in some way, and they come and like they can be very Frankensteinian. Like they don't necessarily have to be like recognizable. Like you can kind of stitch them. Like sometimes they get stranger and stranger the deeper you go in the heart. But it's very much like the physical manifestation of a creature using sort of the flesh and the spirit and the echo of the heart itself. Okay.
Yeah, so he would have seen me on death's door, broken bones, all sorts of stuff, because my character is not tough. And it's blood streaming out of my mouth and bite marks in it. So yeah, it would only be assumed that I was eating it.
Okay. And then, Mike, your other question is recently you and another character returned from a delve with an item for a wealthy patron. They wouldn't give it up. Why and what was it?
I want to say I went on a delve with Jeremy's character.
Okay.
And we found this large meat cleaver. And Arby's just wouldn't give it up.
All right. Jeremy, go ahead and put an item in your character sheet. Large meat cleaver.
I will gladly do that.
Okay. That also means that by not returning it to the patron, that the patron is probably very upset. Okay. So let's do Adam. Adam, let's hit your questions. What are your heart song, right?
Yeah, trying to get to them because I'm trying to also update an iPod real quick. So.
Okay, no, I can come back.
No. What's up? I'm here.
We could do Steven first. It's fine. He's also heart song.
Yeah, and then no one can copy me.
I mean, Adam did do this earlier, so...
I did?
Yeah, no. Okay. So, heart song. Okay, so Steven, your question for another character is you recently witnessed an unearthly sight with another player character. Who was it? What happened? And how did they react? And whoever you pick, by the way, like if you get picked by one of these, you're welcome to like pitch in and do it collaboratively, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. Chuck, no one's picked you yet. You and I were in a delve, and we were at some sort of underground lake or something like that, and a massive heart's blood aquatic creature leapt out of the water. We thought it was coming for us, and it just regurgitated an entire person in front of us.
Okay. How did Chuck react to that?
I tried to convert them.
They were dead.
Oh, then if they wouldn't convert, then I shot them.
Okay.
That's why they were dead.
Chuck,
before,
Chuck tried to convert.
after.
I think that's funny.
The timeline really doesn't matter when it comes to these things.
I mean, it's the same two options.
Okay. Convert or shoot. Those are the two options.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Adam, you get the same question. You recently witnessed an unearthly sight with another PC. Who was it? What was it? And how did they react?
Let's see here. It probably would have been Zelina. And the sight I witnessed would have been my first experience of viewing things through my bee's eyes, where they saw her creating like a poultice out of something wild, and maybe Jen can help me figure out what was about it that was unearthly.
Okay. What do you think, Jen?
That's a good question. An unearthly poultice.
Yeah, so maybe out of weird body parts or mushrooms that that grew off of like a living flesh wall or something like that.
Gross. How about just purple slugs?
Okay. Out of purple slugs. Okay. Sounds good. Because those aren't gross. Those aren't gross. Purple slugs. All right. Let's see. Who hasn't gone? Chuck. Which one did you pick again?
I am enlightened.
All right. So your questions. You have to choose another player character. They have been invaluable in your journey so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who is this person, and what have you learned?
Jeremy.
That makes sense.
Malik. Yeah. Malik. He taught me how to kill better.
Okay. So what was that lesson like, Jeremy? Like what methods did you impart?
I taught him that you can hunt any being the same as a beast. You hunt them, you trap them, you learn them.
Is Malik doing the cutting or the shooting?
Oh, he uses his bare hands.
Okay. So yeah, definitely tracking.
To know your prey.
There's a follow-up question of mine. I'm sorry, I just now noticed it. So how did Zelina react when I knew what she was doing when I wasn't there? Because I was looking through my bee's eyes, not my own.
I probably would sniff the air and kind of deduce that I'm being watched, but not be able to tell where or what.
Okay. Discovered me with her powerful nose.
Okay. I'm going to put Jen smells good, which is not exactly what I meant by that, but I'm writing in shorthand. Okay. So then the other question for enlightenment, Chuck, choose another player character. You know they're hiding secrets from you. Why do you suspect they're doing this? So who's hiding secrets from you?
Okay. For this to make sense, I need to the mother yeast mother that I got and I had to name.
Yeah.
I have named it, and it is named the Bee's Knees.
Oh goodness.
I'm sorry. And it's a honey dough loaf yeast starter. But you might think it uses honey. No, it literally uses the knees of bees to give it that crunch, like. So yeah, this question then goes down to who's hiding secrets and what are they hiding? It's Adam. He's hiding secrets because he surely knows additional ways to cook and prepare bee parts. And he's not telling me about them.
Okay. Adam's hiding secrets about bees. That makes sense.
Adam or Esme?
Esme is. I don't know if Adam knows anything about bees, but Esme, she's keeping my pastry skills down by not sharing these secrets.
Okay. All right. So that's enlightenment. No one else was enlightenment? Oh no, Jen, you were enlightenment, right?
I was, yeah.
Okay, Jen, who's a character who has been invaluable on your journey so far and has taught you something?
I'm going to say Esme, just because of the whole eating of the hearts that happens.
Okay. So like how to properly prepare like heart flesh for consumption?
Sure. Right? And how to eat it in not a different form, I guess.
All right. Okay, perfect. And then your other one is who's hiding secrets from you?
Probably Dante.
What would I do?
No idea, but you're hiding something.
You've got that kind of face, you know. You just look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I do.
Why do you think he's hiding? He's keeping secrets from you.
I mean, he is named Dante, right?
I do probably have some sort of infernal, intent.
Okay. Got it. Okay. All right. Let's see. So we've got Heart Song. We've got Enlightenment. We need to do Adventure. So let's do Adventure. Dante. Did we do yours yet? Or did we already do yours?
We did the 2 connecting questions, but we haven't done the other ones.
Okay, so we're just going to do the connecting questions. You can do the other ones later.
Okay.
Jeremy, you are penitent, right? So you need to pick one of the other player characters. They were present at your betrayal of some kind. How were they involved?
So I think our group was basically, we had found the body of like some weird, like Evangelion style creepy angel that was like in a comatose or slumbering state. And we had been taking pieces of it to feed to people to give them like false miracles.
Oh God.
And Dante, being the adventurer he is, was hired to come in and knock that business off. And like somebody from my own group was jealous, called him in, and he actually helped kill the comatose angel.
Okay.
As much as you can kill one.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's how we had our meet cute. Oh, you ruined my cult. You jerk.
Oh.
But you did, at least he helped in the end. Turned it around.
I was helping.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, angels in this game are extraordinarily powerful and wondrous and like absolutely horrific at the same time.
Yes.
And then the other question you have for characters, Jeremy, is pick one of the other player characters. You look up to them as an example of how to live one's life.
That's
what inspired
so
this?
easy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Lucius because I spoke the words of the true God, but they were hollow and false, and there was nothing to it. And he may have the belief of a false God, but at least he believes everything he says. So he's sincere, whereas I was just a hollow shell.
So he taught you the power of faith and belief.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he actually believes his stuff.
I do. Moon Beneath is great.
Okay, for some people. All right. Has everyone done these questions? Has everyone done their character connection questions? All right, that's calling. We're getting there. We're getting there. So next up we have class, and I think everyone's basically picked this. I think everyone's picked this already.
Yeah.
And so again, you just have to drag these over onto your character sheet. Do we want to just go through and you just say what you picked? So let's just do that. Adam, what'd you end up picking?
I ended up picking a deep apiarist.
And what are deep apiarists?
They are people who have a hive of bees that have moved inside them, who replace their heart with a waxen heart, and that's where the queen bee lives.
Yes.
And so they're slowly being eaten alive, and their body parts are being replaced by waxen copies of that. So got a whole bunch of Stevens running around at me.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. They're my favorite class. Like Deep Apiarist is my favorite class. They are. I think they're actually one of the better like supportive healer classes too. Like they have a like stress relief type abilities and things.
It's the first night I've met Steven, so I'm just going by everyone else's word.
You don't remember the first night we met?
I don't.
Wow.
Oh wow, that
heartbreaking.
hurts. That hurts.
Chuck.
It was.
No, I
it
thought
was
it was
like 4
That's
years
two,
ago now.
Chuck.
I thought it was
Heartbreaking.
Wait, did I? It was an accident. I didn't mean to.
Going down.
Oh my gosh, it was totally unintentional.
I mean, I've seen you on Darkest House, but you know.
Okay, Chuck. Tell us about your heretic.
He's Lucius, a heretic seeking enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, as the cleric equivalent kind of carryover class, I have taken a vow of extreme violence.
Excellent. That's really going to pair well with Adam's vow of nonviolence in our Deadlands game. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and if anybody wants to see that, check out the Lollygaggers on every other Monday night.
So does that mean then, because we know how Adam's vow of nonviolence works out and the fact that he's extraordinarily violent. So does that mean you're going to be extraordinarily nonviolent?
No, I plan on shooting or stabbing everyone who won't convert.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Mike, what'd you pick?
I went with the Hound
Nice.
simply because of all like outside of game stuff. Like me, Adam, and I play in this game, like live LARPing thing called Dagger here, and I'm part of a group called the 100 Hounds,
Mhm.
and we're a mercenary group. And so Adam was like, "Look at this," and I was like, "Well, I guess I have to play it now." Kind of like how in Mutant Year Zero, he's like, "Hey, look, there's a boss," and I was like, "Well, I gotta play that now too." So here I am. I haven't even looked at any of the other classes.
I mean, it's a really good. I mean, it fits so much. The hounds, so like they're like in the story, like there's like a regiment, the 33rd Regiment that was
Yeah.
like sent down into the heart to kind of try to sort of pacify it in some way, and like
Right,
the remnants of it are the hounds, and
right.
they're sort of like I mean, they're sort of like protector security types in a way, in some
Yeah.
ways.
I got like a martial, lone ranger, like paladin kind of feel from them.
Yeah, for sure.
So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. And last time we ran this, nobody played hounds, so it's gonna be
Really?
cool to see. Yeah, no one played a hound. So they're kind of curious. No one played a hound. No one played an apiarist. No one played a heretic. So like the first 3 classes, like it's gonna be cool.
Hey.
Jen, what did you pick?
I picked the witch.
And what do you know about the witches? I'm just curious. Did you look into that
I
at all?
know that the one I'm going to be playing is going to be able to shapeshift
Oh, nice.
and
True form.
making poultices, and we're loved and feared.
Mm-hmm. In Heart, witches are actually all of witches basically in Heart have a blood disease, and so that's part of like what sort of drives some of their powers and whatnot. So, yeah, and so yeah, and there's a cool landmark we might hit. We did it in the last time we played called Hallow, which is like a city, like a town landmark filled with witches. It's really fun. All right, Steven, what'd you pick?
I will note that no one else picked this. I am a junk mage. I am addicted to magic, and I channel that magic. I steal that magic from the slumbering godlike beings underneath the city.
Yeah. I mean, Chuck did play it last time we ran this, so...
Damn it!
Oh no! I think.
All right, let me remake my character. Give me 15 minutes here.
I know you even took his name and everything. No, last time you were weren't you like Mornoth?
Oh, it was Morthos.
You were Morthos.
I just have a few names that I hop between. Okay.
Yeah. And then Jeremy, what'd you pick?
I went with Cleaver.
Okay.
I've just devolved into a near insane being that eats the flesh of other people and creatures to take their knowledge, or sometimes like shift my body into horrific new visages to accomplish goals. I'm a good person.
Awesome. You are a cannibal in this game, but it's okay. It's built into the system, so it's okay. It's fine. Like you don't have to actually be a cannibal. You can just eat a lot of different.
Yeah, it's not cannibalism so long as I'm not eating gnolls. I'm not saying I wouldn't.
Are we talking about me?
What?
Huh?
I'm sorry. No. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
You're a cannibal too?
No, I was thinking of Deadlands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There has been a rash of cannibalism in our games lately. Has anyone else noticed this? Like we've got a lot of cannibals in our games.
Art imitates life.
Yeah, I don't see a problem.
Yeah.
No one checked Chuck's crawl space.
All right. So then, since you picked your classes, you all get to pick your starting abilities. You get 1 major ability and 3 minor abilities. So to do this, to make this work on your character sheet, so if you open up your character sheet and if you look for the section of your character sheet that has your class name, all the way on the right of where it lists your class name, there's a little eye. If you want to click on that, that will open up a sheet that has like your choices. And so you can kind of go through and make your equipment choice here, and you can make your ability choice here. And the way you actually signal it on the character sheet is by clicking the little toggle button so that it's not all white. That's like, you know, that turns black basically. And so like equipment, usually it gives you an option of 2 or 3 different things. You have to pick one of those. And then core abilities, you pick 1 major and 3 minor. In terms of the equipment, you're going to see like they're all going to have a die usually associated with it. So it could be a D4, D6, D8, etc. In this game, whether we're doing combat or we're doing delving or some sort of extended task, like you're trying to wear down the resistance of something. And so if it's combat, like you can conceive of it as like hit points if you want, like the idea of wearing down the resistance. If we're doing delves, it's like progressing to the point where you've moved through the obstacles that the delve presents. And that die will be usually what you use, like in if it's a weapon or if it's for like a specific purpose, like that's the die you would roll essentially to sort of reduce the resistance. It also is possibly going to have a domain. So in the game, the way the game works when it comes to like checks is I give you, like we kind of call out a combination of skill and domain. So in the game there are I don't remember how many number, but the skills are compel, which is kind of like persuasion in a way, the idea of trying to get somebody to do something. Delve, which is about doing sort of physical traversing a space. Discern is kind of like a perception. Endure is, fortitude, like withstanding things. Evade, dodging, moving around, being sneaky. Hunt could be like tracking or literally hunting something. Hunt also it's reasonable to use that in combat as well sometimes. Kill is very much combat driven, but not necessarily only combat, but it will be the most common thing you might want to do if you're doing direct attacks on a creature. Mend is for like healing or crafting or fixing things. Sneak is for specifically being like, trying to be stealthy and moving around, and like trying to move past somebody. Usual stuff you'd use sneak for. And then, so what I would do is I would call, be like, okay, make a skill domain check. And so we would pick the skill and we would pick the domain. Domains correspond to just sort of like the realm of like the area that we're in or the subject matter that this skill check pertains to. And there are a handful of those. There's cursed, desolate, haven, occult, religion, technology, warren, and wild. Warren it'd be like for like tight and closed spaces, caves, things like that. Wild would be animal related or forest, trees, that kind of stuff. Technology is fairly obvious. Religion, you can kind of expect if it has to do with like a sort of a known religion or a practice. Occult is more for like more apocryphal stuff. Haven, if it has to deal with settlement issues, if it's around like people, locations, etc. Desolate, sort of vast, empty spaces. Cursed is like any space that there's something that's affecting it in some fashion. And so, what you would do when you want to roll, you would take, if we're in like a location, if we're in a haven, for instance, and you're trying to convince someone in a haven to do something for you, you might roll compel haven, right? So you take, if you have like a rank of compel, if you have that skill, I should say, and you have a domain, the main haven, that'll give you bonus die on your roll, and then etc. So you're also going to see those tags come up, those domain tags come up on some of your weapons and some of your abilities. Many of the abilities that you might be picking right now could be giving you those skills or those domains. And you're going to start to see towards the bottom of your character sheet, like either it's going to automatically start toggling those, or you can go down there and just select if like an ability tells you to sort of pick something. The game itself uses like a D10 dice pool system. So you roll a series of D10s. You start with one for free. Like you start with one D10 on a check. And then if you have the skill that I'm calling for, you get another D10 to the pool. If you have the domain that I'm calling for, you get another D10 to the pool. If you have what's called a knack or mastery, which is like if anything would give you like a domain twice or a skill twice, you get like specialized training in it. That would also give you another D10. If somebody's helping you, they would give you another D10. And so you can kind of build the pool fairly big. And then you roll all of those. And then we pick the highest die. So whatever the highest die is going to determine pass, failure, pass with success, that kind of thing. And it's not binary. So there's going to be times when you'll succeed, but still take some stress. There'll be times where you succeed without taking stress. There'll be times when you like do like a critical fail and you take double stress. So there's like a whole range of things that you could potentially have happen to you. Okay. Does that make sense? Does everyone sort of generically get that?
What were all the skills again? I missed that part.
It's on your character sheet.
Yeah, but like the definition for them. Like I see the words, but I don't know what they mean.
You don't know what those words mean?
No, I never went to school or anything. I wasn't.
I believe that.
Fancy with education.
I really, really believe that. It's almost as if I'm reading this out because we're on a stream where there's people in the audience that can't see the list in your character sheet. It's so weird how that works. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you were better at running streams, Steven, you would kind of know that.
That's why I don't run streams. I let you and Chuck run them all for me.
All right. So everyone hopefully picked your abilities while I was rambling in your equipment. And so you should have all that kind of stuff ready to go. Any questions on like abilities or how to use the character sheet or anything like that?
No, but I wish I had known all that before I entered in all those abilities by hand.
You did it by hand?
Just like clicked on
Nice.
the thing.
Jeff caught me in the middle of doing that. Be like, Chuck, you dumb.
I totally got it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd done like the mechanics Monday on it on like my character, and so I was like, oh, I'll just start copying all this stuff in that I did before, and then it's like, oh, there's this super simple like click thing, and it filled in things for me. Nice. That's neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, and so then there's also beats. I would say hold off on doing those beats until we know that we're actually going to be able to play, because we still have some other stuff to do. Okay, so hopefully everyone's got your class, you got your abilities, you got your callings, everything's in there, and so now we kind of got to move on to doing like our landmark creation. So we're using one of the supplements called Sanctum. So Sanctum, what it does is it lets you all basically build a home base. So you all, the six of you can see in Foundry, like there's this like hex map, right? And so we're gonna, over the course of time, we're gonna be putting down like tokens to sort of, or like these little tiles to sort of denote like where certain things are, where certain landmarks are, where certain delves are, etc. And so what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna build one together. And you all are going to figure out kind of a home base, and this will be where you all kind of constantly come back to, but you delve for, like you're kind of going out and collecting resources or doing tasks or whatever. You're defending your delve if certain things come to attack, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so, I mean, I'll share this with you if you want to see it, but we'll kind of go through this together. So hopefully, like this is just sort of kind of goes through it. We'll do this as quickly as possible, but it's probably gonna take a while. So every landmark, every location in game usually has a series of like domains that are associated with it, and based upon what like sort of combination of domains that you have is sort of going to determine like the nature of the specific landmark itself. So like you usually combine like, 2 or 3. So by default, like your landmark, your haven will have the haven domain, meaning it's a settlement. Good. It's a relatively safe space. Okay. So then what you all get to decide now is what 1 or 2 other domains do you want to have associated with the haven? So to give you an example, like the Hallow one that I mentioned to Jen earlier, that one has like the occult associated with it because witches have a tendency to incorporate occult a lot into their practices. It makes sense, like thematically, that there's a lot of magic that's being practiced there, and so hence occult comes up. So then the question is just what do you all want to have? Like I kind of copied down on that handout there, like all of some of the different examples that the book sort of explains, like how this particular domain might manifest in some way. So like desolate, for instance, like the settlement might be pinned against the wall of a chasm or something like that. Like you're literally on the side of this tall chasm and you're sort of alone and separate from everything. It could be like wild, for instance, like your homes and all the different buildings are on stilts over top of some like water or stench or something like that. So it's really just, what are you all thinking? So this is where you all just sort of hash out what you think might sound cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I love that first one a lot.
I agree. Technology also looks pretty cool.
Technology does look pretty cool.
Yeah,
Technology
I
looks
agree.
pretty bad. I don't like technology.
Uh-huh.
I like cursed in a cult.
Man,
So we're all agreed on
imagine
cursed.
Imagine if we didn't like Steven. Can you imagine? What it would be like?
I can imagine it.
Luckily, we all love Steven
We
here.
do, which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just happy that I have the Haven domain and it's automatically going to be part of this area. So, yay
Yeah.
me.
I really like Cursed.
I do too. I think if you combine cursed and technology, you can get some like that weird like doom hell technology sort of stuff going on.
Okay. Adam or Jen, you want to toss in a thought on this? You
I don't
cool where
have the
everyone's going?
Haven, but I really like the idea of Desolate
Okay.
because I think it's kind of cool.
I'm at a cult all the way.
Oh yeah, if
Okay.
we do a cult, then I'm good with that. But
A cult.
Cursed
So maybe we
cult?
split. We do cursed and occult.
Be all right with that.
Cursed
Okay.
technology? Cult technology? I'll leave it up to you guys.
Well, I think we're all settled on Cursed, right? Did
I think
miss some?
I think Adam, Jen, Steven said a cult was like their preference, their number one preference. So if we go with that, so we'll say a cult because that looked to be like their number one. And then there's the other three. So what's your number one, the three of you?
I think it was Cursed, wasn't
Cursed.
it?
Okay. So we have Haven, occult, and cursed.
This is a great place to live.
It is.
So yeah, so like examples. So for those of you on the stream, so some of the examples from the book for like curse is like the pub basement could have like a hungry mouth growing out of the wall. The hounds might have made a moat of stomach acid or something like that surrounding the place, or like cleavers actually come by and pay their respects here for some reason. And then like for a cult, it could be where people come to learn magic. I put a no by that because in Chuck's Strixhaven game, we have learned very much that whenever there's a school that's dedicated to magic, the faculty and the administrators are absolutely terrible and there's nothing to learn.
I think I could be a professor. It seems like a pretty easy job. So maybe I should. Maybe I should run the school of magic for a cult.
It's actually pretty sweet. I have to tell you, it's pretty sweet.
Oh,
okay.
you know from experience? I had no idea.
Yeah. All right. So curse and occult is what we have going on. We can flesh that out as we go in terms of what that actually means. So then the next question is tier. So the tiers are tier 1, 2, 3, tier 4, which we're not going to have it there because that's the heart itself. There's what's called a rogue tier. The rogue is like a mobile thing, but there's a couple problems with that. It's going to be very, very difficult to move. It also, since I know there's a lot of interest in delving, if like you're constantly moving the haven, like you might not be delving as much. So I'm not sure if that's going to undercut some of it. Then there's fracture too, which is like extra dimensional and stuff. But the problem with that one, the potential downside of that one is that it's much more difficult to actually get back to your haven because it's not just an automatic, we run down this tunnel that we passed by before. You have to do like there's like sort of special things perhaps to get back to the haven or to leave the haven, etc. Most commonly tier 1 and tier 2 are where one of those two tiers is where you put your landmark. The further deep you go, the stranger it is. Tier 1 and tier 2 is you're probably more likely to like tier 1. It's going to be much more recognizable to an actual settlement. Derelictus is like tier 0 essentially, which is like the city underneath the city, kind of, so to speak.
Like the basement of the city.
Yeah, exactly. So I would recommend tier 1 or tier 2, but like if you all want to do something else, I'm open.
I would vote
Maybe-
tier 2.
I was going to vote 2 as well because we're cursed and occult, so things are weird here, but we're not like
Super weird.
Okay.
We could go. Tier 1 seems a safe bet. I don't know. Like Rogue does seem interesting because, like, if we were wanting to explore a lot, we wouldn't be able to make like connections, from my understanding, between like one haven to another if we're constantly moving our base. But
That's correct.
like it would be. But if we're like moving, we delve a little bit, we move, we delve a little bit, we move, we delve a bit. Like that's what we're doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd
So
be interesting.
there's no specific rules for it, but like it does, like the book does suggest that if you do pick a rogue one, that the idea of moving the haven be a difficult problem itself. So it'd be something that, yeah, like you would have to like it would be an undertaking every time you try to move it.
If we do fracture, it should be like the room of requirement, right? It just appears wherever you need it.
There actually is a landmark similar to that in the game.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
I think it's just called the room, is what it's called. Yeah.
Neat. Otherwise, I mean, what does everyone else think?
I like tier 2. I like the idea of rogue too. No preference.
Adam or Jen?
My preference is Rogue One.
You too, Jen?
Yeah.
You too?
Jin.
Can I totally kill all of us?
I just want to say I've been
This
very good
isn't
this stream.
this isn't a real session. This doesn't count, right?
This
Session
doesn't
0.
count for the puns. If I knew it didn't count, I would have been pulling them out.
Oh, God. Killing me.
Yeah, we can do tier 2. If we were to go any direction from that, I would say tier 1.
All right. The thing I'm hearing most is tier 2, so that's what I'm writing down. So basically, tier 2 is there's something definitively weird about this place. So the examples, like some random examples, are the gravity doesn't work quite right, or the streets have a tendency to rearrange themselves, or ghosts sometimes pop up and wander around in the streets, something like that. Like the inhabitants of the place are also kind of weird. It is more dangerous than tier 1. So it's probably going to be guarded, but Mike's playing a hound character, so that could be a way that he might be tied in some fashion. It's also most likely going to have some kind of defenses. Those are things that you might be considering, and people have a tendency to be more suspicious on tier 2. So the next question after that, which is sort of following up, is what is special about the Haven? So what is something that marks your Haven as unusual? Like what rule does it break? Kind of like the ones I was just mentioning. Is it like a god that you worship that's weird, or there's some kind of special resource or some other defining mark? It should be big, be bold. It's probably something that's visible from the outside going in, so it's not like a hidden thing. What are you thinking?
I would like it if in the center of the town there's like a tree in it that is made entirely of meat and bones, and its flowers are made out of like cartilage, and its stamens are like nerve endings.
Okay.
Yeah.
what he said.
Now he's getting touchy-feely with it.
I like it.
I thought you were gonna. Never mind, I'm being nice. I'm not
Okay.
saying it.
So like
Oh,
if you hug the tree hugs you back.
You can say
It
that.
can.
Well, I was thinking we can also use it like all of our like town meetings can happen around the tree, and we can call it the meeting place.
Yeah.
And you ever get hungry, you want a sandwich, you just peel off some bark, and there you go.
It's it's what the one things where the meat's on the thing and you carve off however much you want.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
And
We
my
have a
bee-
rotating tree in the center of our village that's called the meeting
Yeah.
place.
And
Okay.
my bees can make interesting nectar from it, and I can call them beaters, like a mix of bees and mosquitoes.
True story. My brother-in-law does work at a place called the meeting place.
He's
Like-
fired.
Meat or meat?
He's fired.
He's fired.
It's a butcher shop. So the meeting place.
Okay, so I wrote down meat tree is basically what I have. That's what sets it apart. It's a meat tree. Okay. I'm
I was
for that.
thinking maybe a little something more like useful, like large gunpowder deposits. No.
What were we just talking about? Sandwiches. That's useful.
Like tons of resources,
Right.
More do you need than meat?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're never hungry because the meat tree provides, right?
The meat tree.
The meat tree provides.
The meat
Okay.
tree provides.
Its name is Dimitri.
So many meat spots.
Dimitri the meat
Right,
tree.
that was a good one. That was a good one. All right. Okay. So the next thing we're doing is we're gonna stick with meat tree for now, and we'll flesh this out some more. Hey,
One, Jeff.
Hey, I'm infected. Oh God, no. Okay, so question number 4 is this is where we deal with faces and factions. So it's just we're basically populating it. We're populating who is commonly out there. So here's how we're gonna make it work. So there's 6 of us. The group recommends 3 factions. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to create 3 factions and then like the face for each one of those factions. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to have one person is going to make a faction, 3 of you are going to make factions, and then 3 of you are going to make faces for those factions. And so that means everyone is going to have to do something. So the 3 factions that they recommend, one of them they recommend is like what they call the status quo. So this is likely the caretakers of the Haven. So this is the people that get blamed when things go wrong, and who are usually responsible for all the decisions. They're really, really struggling to keep up, especially on Tier 2 where it's very dangerous and things are strains. And they're trying very hard to maintain the status quo, that kind of thing. Then the next one is which group kind of wants to shake things up. So think of them like who are like the more like the rebellious faction, like the upstarts in some way. These are people who are trying to change the Haven for the better and upset the status quo. So they're regularly sort of fighting in some ways with the people that are in charge, and they want to change something about it. And then there's basically the people at large, which is kind of just the populace, not necessarily anyone who's in charge, but just the general people who live here, like it could be your run of the day mill workers or meat tree tenders or whatever it might be. And then for each one of those factions, we'll create a face, like an NPC that'll be like a regular face of that specific faction. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the meat tree caretakers can be called us. And then they can be Demetrius.
See, that wasn't as good. Like, I don't know.
No.
Pay for effort.
Yeah.
No. Don't give. This is no. You're not a professor, Stephen. I know you.
This is like a writer's room. You got to throw stuff out there, see what sticks.
Yeah.
And that one didn't stick.
Feces.
Generally, I know when it's bad after it leaves my mouth, not before. And then
it's
as
when you
soon
see
as
the
say it, I'm
hollow
like,
looks
"Oh."
in everyone's eyes, and they just kind of avert them. And look
I don't even
elsewhere.
need to see. All it needs to do is like leave this threshold, and immediately I know, no, it's not good.
As soon as you hear it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we want to do this like randomly, like where I just roll a d6 and we get started that way? And
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So this is the person. I'm gonna roll a d6. We're just gonna go by what's on the overlay: 1 Adam, 6 Jeremy, and in between. And this is going to be the person who comes up with the sort of the caretakers, like who the caretakers are. So, Mike, who are the caretakers, the status quo, the people that are kind of in charge of this haven?
They're the arbiters.
Okay. So there's
Or
like
the arbiters.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
This is a meat tree.
Mm-hmm. We're just going to power through it. So okay, so then a couple like follow-up questions for you to help sort of flesh this out a little bit. Why, so they're trying to maintain the status quo. Like, why is maintaining the status quo important to them? Who helps them maintain control? So if there's like a subgroup or something like that or whatever, and what do they lose if things suddenly change? So anything like that you can add to flesh this out.
Yeah, so I think what they're trying to do is, they're trying to take care of the meat tree. Like, they don't want it to be over harvested, because then the settlement will lose what it, if we just eat the meats all willy-nilly, then, then the haven falls. So, they're probably trying to regulate the meats, keep it to a minimum, ration it out. So that's why they're trying to keep the status.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. They're trying to regulate the meats. That's what I wrote. Never thought I'd write that phrase, but here I am. Regulate the meats. Okay, don't over harvest. That sounds great. Let's do a D10 now, or D5 or whatever. All right, so this one's gonna be. I know how to do this. Steven, this is you. You are.
You rolled an 8.
Yes, because that divide that by 2, and it's a 4. And
Hey, I didn't sign up to do math.
Yeah, seriously.
I hate every one of you.
I just said do math for me.
So, Steven, it makes sense. You have to come up the rebels, the people who want to shake things up. So, who are the people that are constantly opposing the arbiters?
I got this.
Okay.
These are the cutters, and they wish to, in gardening, you can cut off branches to replant new plants, and they wish for us to have many, many meat trees all over the haven. And of course, stupid arbiters say that you start cutting off branches, you can kill the meat tree, and then we're screwed. That's not how it works. It'll grow back. So yes, the cutters want to start planting meat trees all over town.
Stephen, I don't say this very often to you, but that's a really cool idea. I hesitate to say this because I feel like it's going to go to your head.
Someone clip this for me.
Like
clip it and link it.
That was very good. It was very good. Well done. Okay, so we have the cutters, we have the arbiters. All right, so I'm going to do a D4 now. So Chuck, man of the people, tell us about the people. This could be people who ply a trade, or maybe there's a faith or some kind of common goal that unites the populace and stuff. Who might this be?
United Meat Workers Union. They don't care what happens with the meat tree. They just need someone to tell them what to do.
Okay.
The meat keeps coming, and they got to take care of it.
Right?
Okay.
The meat keeps coming.
I feel like there's going to be some counterculture group that's like, oh, we'll spend 20K a week to make sure the union doesn't happen.
No, the union's already established.
Okay.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah. This is
but the union is like
world.
stealing from their wages and everything. We need to.
Oh my God.
Okay.
They're not stealing their wages. They're
Is
stealing
the
their
union's
meat.
motto, you can't beat the meat?
Copyrighted.
No. Let it
Urban
let it
Travel's
there.
Place.
Just be quiet. I like it when there's a bad pun where everyone just goes silent and then like 10 seconds go by, and so you have to sit there and think about what you did.
That was great.
Excellent pun. I loved it. It was a great pun.
Okay, so let's go back through these really quickly. So for the arbiters, like how might you all as a group interact with the arbiters? Like what might they regularly want you to do, or how might they want you to help, or like what might you get as a benefit for working with them?
I don't work for the establishment. Fuck the arbiters.
That's fine, but you don't speak for the whole group. So see, we were up here, we were doing so
I
well.
feel like I do.
Okay. So how might you all interact with the arbiters?
Well, Esme tries to remain on good terms with them because that's where her beaters get their nectar.
Okay, and what
Nectar.
what might you have to do to stay on good terms with them?
Yeah, sometimes I can. Sometimes I will go on delves for the sanctum, and so I think perhaps we may have been on a delve before, all of us, but like that Esme is particularly beholden to do that.
Okay, so you go on delves for them. Okay. What kind of things do you think you might have to get for them specifically?
Well, I mean, it may be something as simple as like, they may want something that isn't meat to eat.
Okay.
It may be that simple. Otherwise, it could be something for that ritual that we don't really know why it's being performed, but they need some sort of like material or fuel to keep some sort of sacred fire going or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe like once in a while we have to like do a delve to get to the roots of the tree.
Oh
to,
yeah,
like, take care of them.
I love that. Yeah.
I like to consider ourselves tier 2 support. So, you know, we're not the basic help, but you know, when they need something special done, they come to us.
We're not the Avengers, we're the young Avengers. You know, like
See, you
With
might
the
think I'm
runaways?
actually writing notes, but really I'm writing, why did I do this to myself? I hate myself. It's not 9 o'clock yet for me. Please, 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 time move faster. That's what it says in here. It's really weird. It's really weird.
Hey, I held out for like
That's
an
a
hour and a
crazy
half. All
short
right, I
name.
did the best I could.
Okay, so I wrote down you could go on delves to acquire like ritual items, like fuel for like a sacred fire, or to delve down to the roots of the tree and do some sort of tending down there. Okay, I like that. You
fuel
made the-
because we don't have any trees to burn.
That's you get because if you do that, it's just a barbecue at that point. It's
Yeah.
not really. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's
Delicious.
tasty, but you know.
Okay.
It's like a 2-in-1.
I like the idea of delving to the roots of the trees. There's stuff down there that's messing around with the roots. Okay. So then with the cutters, it's sort of the same question. Like, what are ways that the group could tie to them, or what are things the group what might they want the group to help them with, or anything like that? How might they come to you for support or something like that?
I mean, so if they're trying to cut off branches to like replant, maybe they need special reagents to do that. Like you can't just shove the stick, like the meat stick in the ground and expect it to grow. Maybe you need to have some weird thing from down below to plant it.
Okay.
Does anybody have anything to do with fire at all? Because they may look for somebody to cauterize the tree once a branch has been pruned.
Alternatively, they may wish for us to find different meat trees that we could relocate to our haven.
Ooh.
Oh, so
I
we
wonder
got
since
like
A meat
the
orchard.
rules don't allow them to actually cut from our meat tree, so they're like, hey, cut from a different meat tree, bring it around.
Okay.
So-
Nice.
So find other meat trees out somewhere in the heart. Okay.
You know, if we're
Perfect.
going to get into the meat of the situation.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I meant to say the heart of the situation.
I like Mike's. They got to get to the root of the settlement's problems. That was a really good one. That was a good one right there. All right. Then the same question for the people. When the populace comes to you, when the United Meat Workers Union needs help, how do you all like when they come to you for help? What types of things are they asking from you?
Maybe like every now and then there's some critter that's up in their area that's like a protected species or some nonsense that their little bylaws prevent them from actively being able to do something against. They kind of like off the books are like, could you please just get this thing out of here so we can do our work?
And we politely relocate it.
Yes.
Okay. So you like clear infestations or something like that for them. Okay. All right. So then the next part is we got to do the faces part of things. So then I'm going to roll a d6 for this. Let's see. Adam, you haven't gone yet, right?
Nope.
Give me an NPC, like a face of the Arbiter. Give me like an Arbiter that you all would probably regularly interact with. What's like the face of the Arbiter group?
It would be like a yes man that's always going to the Arbiter, who is doesn't really have any spine in front of the yes man, in front of the arbiter, but then tries to connive and trick and do everything else to get things done to make themselves look good in front of the arbiter.
Okay. Can you give me okay, I'm going to put that down. So there's a yes man, but I also want somebody who actually is part of the arbiters. Like some like I want I kind of want to you don't have to give me a name, it's fine, but just give me kind of a personality. Like I can flesh out a name if necessary, but like what's a recognizable name of somebody who's part of the group, or what's a recognizable person, someone that you all would have to, like when you deal with them, you know you're dealing with them and you're dealing because they have the voice, the ear of the entirety of the arbiters.
Let's go with Manning, Manning.
Oh, you did that on purpose.
Okay. All right. So they're like they're like your contact within the arbiters. They're one of the arbiters that are willing to regularly talk to you. They're the ones who come to you when they need something. And
yeah.
they say, go
last name of Dupre.
Son of a bitch.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening, but I
don't either.
It's from an
All
old
I know is
campaign.
Mike's upset.
Mike could not pronounce that name
I
for the life of him.
Years thought this character's name was Manny with like a Y, and they're like, no, it's Manning, and I'm like,
But
what?
we didn't correct him because it was so fun to always let him get it wrong.
I was like, yeah, Manny, how's it going,
Hey,
Manny?
Manny!
All right. So we're down to what? 2 people who haven't gone yet? All right. So then who hasn't gone yet? Jen hasn't done one, and Steven, you already done one. It's Jen and Jeremy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jeremy, this one's you. So give me a face for the rebels, the cutters, the ones who sometimes ask you all to go out on delves to find other meat trees and bring back the limbs.
Okay. Well, then I'm gonna, if we're digging back, I can't help it. At this point, you did it, Adam. So now I have to pull up somebody who from there. Like, there's just this mean, grizzled old man missing an eye. We call him Iron Eye.
Okay. I imagine since he often deals with shears, and did he lose his eye from gardening or some other way?
He claims he fought a living tree.
Okay. Claims to have fought a living tree. Maybe he's sent you out to try to catch it or something like that at some point, or maybe like that's like his white whale. All right. That means, Jen, that you get to pick the face. Who is like somebody within the United Meat Workers Union, the people of this haven that you often have to deal with. They come to you with problems. They come to you when like something is bothering the populace and they want you all to do something about it. Who is the person that you would talk to?
It's so hard for me to like get into this with the whole meat tree thing. We're all
It's
about
not
the
where I
meat.
expected the night going either.
Yeah.
It's not at all.
The face of the meat organization.
It's a just think of it as like the populace. These aren't people who are in charge. These aren't people who are trying to be in charge. These are just people who are trying to live their lives within your community. So like, who is somebody within the community that lives around this area that when you talk to them, they have a pulse of what's going on. Like if everybody in the community is pissed off about something or scared, nervous about something, worried, or if they're like their faith is breaking, this is the person who would have like a good idea, a good pulse for what the populace might be.
Probably a mayor.
Okay. It's like an elected, some sort of people's choice person.
Yeah. Somebody's got to be in charge of all that meat.
Okay. All right. So like a self-elected or the people's choice. The people's mayor.
People's choice.
Does your
They're
mayor
like
have
a
a first
prime
name?
person.
Is it OSCAR?
God dang it.
Her name's Angus.
Their name's Chuck.
Well, I mean,
That's
that
my
actually
name,
fits
too.
the meat.
Not bad.
That fits.
Mayor Chuck.
Mayor
Okay.
Chuck.
Chuck
Alright, so
Angus.
Okay, we've moved. So we're done with that. We got all our faces and our
guy.
factions down. So then number 5, fifth question is, so we kind of touched, I think we touched on this a little bit already, but so the idea is that every haven looks, feels, sounds, smells, it's different. People take the heart and they do something with it. So the whole principle of the heart is the idea that it reshapes the environment to suit what it thinks that you want. And when more and more people come into this place, it gets harder and harder for it to do it correctly. And it never really ever did it correctly to begin with. And so whenever groups of people come together, they're trying to find ways to take what the heart gives them and sort of shape it in some fashion. So like, how does, like, what are some like arts or entertainment or other weird things that like the people of your haven do, either recreationally, for entertainment, something like that?
I like to think that we do a charcuterie competition.
Jesus.
It's either that or chili.
Yeah.
That
Oh my
begs the
God,
question:
chili
where do we
cook-off.
get the cheeses?
You don't want to know. That's the secret.
That is the thing. Like getting the meat for the chili is easy, but it's all the sides. The sides
that's
where
the
it's
tough
at.
one. Where do you get chives in the heart for your chili or sour cream? It's better than what I was going to come up for the entertainment. I was going to say like an amateur league boxing kind of thing.
Okay.
And they all work out of a gym called the Meat Beaters.
Meat locker.
Well, the Meat Locker, that's even better.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. 25 minutes ago. 25 minutes.
Or David got his meat grinder.
All right. All right. Then. Okay. So then the question number 6 is, you all are a part of this community. What do you offer in exchange for being part of this? Like, what is it you do? Like, what you all are different than normal people in the sense you're going to be delving, obviously. So that's part of it. But like, why is your character welcome here? And why have people in this community, why are they willing to like build this community with you? So like, what's your role? How do you, and you could look at your class, you could look at your calling for this. Like, what do you personally bring to the table, and why are you a valued member of this community?
I think I got something for this.
What do you got?
A cult is one of the domains for the community, right?
Yeah.
So there would be some sort of ritual that is prolonging the life of the meat tree, keeps it going eternally instead of dying like a tree would. And as a junk mage, I would be able to assist with that ritual and keep it going.
Okay. I think that sounds great.
Nice.
All right.
I mean, every haven loves a hound, so that's why I'm here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
True.
Protection, right?
Yeah, protection, tier 2 support,
Trying all the
troubleshooter.
time.
Okay. All right. Who else?
I think so. For a couple of things, I can think as a cleaver, I can sometimes interact with like, I'm sure it's kind of awkward to have groups of cleavers come in to like worship at that mouth that's growing in the pub. So it's nice to have your local cleaver kind of be the intermediary.
Okay.
But
So,
also
like,
I took the
pub thing doesn't, like, that was just one of the examples. You guys don't actually have to have that. Like, but the cleavers could still come to just worship at the tree.
Yeah, we
I
have
mean,
a
like,
crazy meat tree. Cleavers
Yeah.
probably come here. So you
Okay.
probably need to have your intermediary. It's like, okay, you could like,
This is
you could
our
take a
civilized
taste, but you,
cleaver.
yeah.
Okay, so you're like you're the diplomatic emissary representative for when cleavers come to worship.
And I also did take communion. So if people are willing to let me prepare the charcuterie, or not really, but basically using communion, I can teach a group of people to hunt for a limited spell of time. So when things are dire, I can take a group of people, we can do a communion, and they can just gain the hunt skill.
Yeah. That sounds cool. Ashley, hang on to that. We're gonna get to the threats here in a second. That's a good idea. Like someone's actually actively trying to come and harm the tree. All right. Who else? So I got Steven, I got Mike, I got Jeremy.
Esme.
All right, Adam.
Esme is the person that you seek for like emergencies when it comes to blood and mind. She is she takes care of people's broken bones. She takes care of traumas that you would see out in the heart and sometimes within the sanctum. If the tree has some sort of thing going wrong with it, she can repair it as well. And sometimes when I wake up in the morning, there's a blood that's flowing through the ceiling, so I gotta go fix that.
Doing so well. We're just
Hey, man.
through it.
Just thought I'd quote some meat puppets.
Yep. All right, Jen or Chuck?
I got it.
All right, go for it.
I'm a religious leader in the community. As a heretic, I offer
Non-consensual.
yes.
Religious leader. Okay. You're a religious leader of the meat faith. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Okay. Got it. I think that makes that makes sense. And Jen, do you have an idea?
I'm all about the blood because I have a sacred blade and I like to do blood dances rather than rain dances.
All right, so you do like blood dances that kind of maybe they somehow like bless the community.
It nourishes the tree.
Okay. Is that how? So does the tree not grow with water? Does it grow from blood?
Only grows from blood.
I would think it grows from blood.
Okay. So you have to make regular sacrifices and stuff.
Oh man, I mean that brings up a lot of questions about what you're doing down at the roots.
Yeah. Blood dances that nourishes the tree. I think there's definitely blood sacrifices to feed the tree. Okay.
I'll sacrifice you all. I don't give a fuck.
Whoa.
I mean, this place is cursed.
Steven, come on. It's a family stream. What are you
Sorry.
doing?
Yeah, man. What the fuck you doing?
Okay. I think so that one's 6. Okay, let's go to question number 7. So Ashley had jumped ahead on this one, but question number 7 is threats. So the heart is dangerous, and says so the main reason people form community is for protection, because if you're off soloing around, like, you are not going to last very long at all. One or the other, something's going to get you. So we need to come up with one or more threats that loom over the haven, and we should draw on our domains specifically. So we don't have to worry about haven, but we'll worry about cursed and occult. So think of a threat that's somehow related to the occult, which is magic. Okay, so something magical, magic users, whatever. And then there's also cursed. And so what's an occult threat that looms over the haven in some way?
You called for a cult threat?
Yeah, or cursed. If you're ready with cursed, we can just jump right through.
No, like a cult. I like Shadizi's statement that someone's trying to take the tree. Maybe there's some religious cult out there that sees the meat of the tree as some, like, heretical kind of thing. So they're always trying to kill it and dry it out to make it bark again.
Yeah.
Building on that, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
they could also be like some twisted version of the apiarists, where they have like these aphids that are trying to infest the tree, which would kind of be what the union tries to get us to take care of.
I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna put it down. There's like a twisted apiarist, like these aphids that are trying. They see the meat. They want the meat. They want to do something else with your meat tree. They see something about the meat tree that they're trying to either take for themselves or destroy, either or. Okay, twisted apiarist. That's good. Okay, did you have something?
I've got an idea for cursed, maybe.
All right, go for it.
So I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but there's like linerum worms, which are basically like the world serpents that eat at the roots of world tree or whatever.
Yeah.
What if
makes
there's
sense.
something like that where they don't just eat at the roots of the tree, but their goal is like they do eat some of it, but they corrupt it and they try to turn the roots of the tree into new linerum worms. Like that's how they reproduce. They have to corrupt world tree roots to make new linerum worms.
Okay. So lindworms, like, so there's these cursed lindworms that are deep beneath the tree that try to like reproduce with the roots of the tree.
Yeah.
Love it. You guys fought a lindworm in our Vaesen game.
I remember.
I think I ate Joe's character with the lindworm. It was great.
So you ate someone's character, yeah.
I did. It was
Yeah.
very exciting. Then I just got
Nice.
eaten by a plant the other day, so now I feel bad retroactively. Okay. All right. Then, all right, we're closing in. All right. So then we get a couple mechanical devices we get to come up with. So every haven has, not every haven, but most havens have what are called haunts. Haunts are locations at a landmark that you can interact with to refresh, to heal, basically. So either to heal fallout, which is like lasting injuries of some kind, or stress, so which is, you know, stuff that's kind of accrued over the course of delving and interacting and doing certain things. So haunts are a way of potentially healing those types of things. So we're gonna, since we're on a tier 2, by default we're gonna be at a D6 level. So with this, so basically the way it works, when you want to heal, let's say you have, you know, like 6 or 7, like, you know, blood stress, okay, and you want to heal that in some way. There's player abilities that might be able to do that, but you can also engage, you know, interact with the haunt itself, and you give resources over. So like you collect resources during your delves and things like that, and then you donate those resources to then heal up D6 worth of damage that you've taken. So you all get to put, we're gonna say, because you have it's because you have 2, we'll have 2, because you have curse and occult, we'll say we'll have 2 haunts that you all are going to have, that you can, these could be an NPC specifically, this could be a location, or just some other interesting concept. So like hypothetically, like you actually, if you wanted, you could make the meat tree itself a haunt, and so going there and doing something, whether it's donating resources like blood, could then mean you heal or gain something back from the meat tree, hypothetically speaking. Or it could be a person you go see. Adam, you mentioned that you're a healer, so maybe there actually is a hospital of some kind in the landmark. You work at it, and so anyone who goes to it can donate resources to then heal themselves up at this particular hospital or some variation of hospital. So you can choose. I'm just trying to remember something here. Like you can choose like different types of stress. So you can say this one's specifically going to focus on like one kind of resource or one kind of the other. But let's just start with like, what kind of haunts do we want to have here? Like there's just sort of thematically, what do we want? And then we can derive mechanics from it.
Wait, do we have a smokehouse? But it's not just a smokehouse. Like there's some like crazy, like, if Willie Nelson could get a hold of supernatural fauna and then use that to make smokehouses out of the most ridiculous stuff possible, so that you hallucinate, you go on these spirit visions, and then when you're done, you're refreshed.
And they also smoke barbecue in the back.
Yeah.
In
You can
the
also
back,
get
and that's
brisket. Yeah.
so. While like in the front room, you're hotboxing it, going crazy, and then they take the vapors of that and they smoke the meat.
Yes. So, you know, you get the munchies and then you just move right into the other room.
Exactly.
That's it.
Okay, so are we good with a smokehouse? All right, so number 1 is a smokehouse. Okay. So then what we choose from that is what type of stress does that go towards? So there's blood, which is physical. There's mind. Okay, yeah. I think
Yeah,
I
that
think
sounds
mind
like
makes most
mind.
sense.
Mhm.
It's it would there's 5 different types of stress you can take. Blood is physical, mind is anything that's dealing with your sort of mental or emotional state. There's supplies, which is literally your inventory, which you have, your money, etc. There's fortune, which is like luck, reputation. And then there's echo, which is kind of like a spiritual thing. You can't have echo, but you can have any of the other ones. And so we're going to do mind. So people go to the smokehouse to get exposed to something with Willie Nelson, and then your mind's clear. Something like that. All right, what's the second one?
Ashley in chat threw out a blood winery. That kind of fits. Steal from Curse of Struggle, like Blood on the Vine Winery.
Yes.
Okay. What and do we say it just heals blood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you have the. I mean, those are probably the 2 most common ones.
That one is probably like really close to the meat tree, where they just like they tap into the vine.
Instead of sap, it's just
Yeah.
blood.
You don't make maple syrup, you make blood wine.
I figure
Okay.
people would just go there for like literal blood infusions from the tree.
Oh yeah, just
Oh, wow.
Direct tap in line.
a hose
Okay.
and a syringe.
Yeah.
It's like
You
the
got all
whole
the blood
spa
types on tap.
experience. They have the wine, they have an infusion if you need it. They have a blood bath that you take.
Isn't blood wine a Klingon thing?
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you want to make sure that you have fresh blood, because otherwise you should fear the old blood.
And I figure
Yes.
Adam's character, blood type would at least be B positive.
Christ.
11 minutes to go. Okay. All right. So we got our haunts down. So they're going to start at a D6. One of the things that you're encouraged to do throughout the game is to upgrade them. And so you can actually upgrade them so that they'll be even better. So whenever you use a haunt, so you go there, you give it resources and you can, any resources usually will do, and up to a D6 level, and then you get your D6 healing back. Every time you use it, I make a little mark. And when it gets up to 6 marks, you can then upgrade to the next die size. So now it's a D8, and then in D10, and then eventually D12. You can also voluntarily take stress, like supply stress, which is like an abstract way of like you giving up stuff in your inventory, because you guys don't really inventory every single item you have, like just the key items. Supplies stress kind of is a lot of the generic stuff like ropes and whatnot that like we don't need to keep track of. We just assume you probably have those, and you mark like a point of supply stress. So you can also burn supply stress to in game to like fast track upgrading these haunts so that they get even better. So whenever you come back here, like if you've taken a lot of blood or you've taken a lot of mind stress or you've taken blood fallout or mind fallout, you can go to these places, donate your supplies, donate your resources, and you can regularly heal. This also means, though, that you're going to want to find places throughout the heart that could potentially heal things like your fortune stress and your supply stress, because there's nothing within your specific haven that you can do that with. So that's one of the things you might be delving for, is to find these connections that you can potentially go to more regularly, assuming nobody has abilities to do that. Okay, almost done. I really, really don't want to ask this next question, but I'm going to. What's the haven called?
Maybe the butcher's block.
You forgot the part in the parentheses.
I did. It's
Yeah.
a pun-free zone. I feel
I know,
like
that's
no
why I
one's
tried to jump ahead.
Yes, thank you, Jeremy.
At least it's not the meat pocket this time.
Hell no.
Oh, it's the hot pocket.
No.
Could
no,
be the hot
no,
pocket.
no.
Or not.
It could be a hero or gyro or gyro, however you want to pronounce it.
Mediterranean taco.
So the main feature, glossing over, the main feature of your landmark is a giant meat tree. So I'm not sure if that somehow wanted to be represented in the title of this location.
Ooh, Khalidi Sinam's not bad. It's a nice throwback.
It is. It is.
It's like
I
a tree,
remember
like
that. I remember that because Chuck wanted Hot Pocket or something
I
like
did.
that. But Jen, and I agreed with her, like objected. I think Melissa too object, like that's stupid. This is alien, blah 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 blah. And so we did like a Latin translation
Yes,
for a Hot
Latin.
Pocket. That's where that
Yeah.
came from.
It was perfect.
I thought that was great.
Uh,
Okay, it is
one-
technically your haven, so yes. You can.
One Meat Tree Hill.
Oh,
Wait,
Tree Hill.
is there going to be a failed heart transplant in a dog?
It eats the heart. Yeah.
Oh man.
What about like instead of like a wheat, like some tree thing? I don't fucking know.
Well put. That's really well put, Chuck.
You're welcome.
Can you repeat that one more time so we have the exact
God, no,
quote?
no.
So eloquent. So eloquent. All right, so we got a butcher's block. We've got Khalidi Sinum throwback. I don't know if Latin exists in this game, but I mean there are French names sort of, so I guess we can do whatever we want.
What? One Meat Tree Hill's off?
I kind of like Meat
I'm
Tree
sorry.
Hill.
Your microphone keeps just like cutting out whenever you talk to it. It's so weird.
She said one Meat Tree Hill.
"Oh my
Or
God,
is
it's
it
happening to Steven
Dimitri
too.
us?
Is it something
'Cause
wrong
it's
with Zoom?"
Dimitri plus us
Yeah, I thought
equals
Adam called it-
Demetrius.
Dimitri. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and look at chat.
Demetrius, like, because it's all of us. It's not just Dimitri. It's
Dimitri.
Dimitri and us. It's
There's
Demetrius.
Bleeding Willow,
You know,
Weeping
if
Willow,
there's-
Bleeding Hollow.
Oh,
Oh, bleeding
I don't know how
Hollow.
to
it's-
pronounce this. I'm putting it in Twitch chat.
Oh, this should be
If
good.
there's a
If you
few
can't
of
pronounce
these
it, we
trees-
probably can't name it. Then.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is French for hot pocket.
Oh, man.
I've never taken French.
Yeah, it took German.
Baguette,
Yeah, I don't know.
poche chaude. Something like that.
Oh shit, Salde.
Poche chaude. I don't know. I have no idea.
Mike, you know French. How do you pronounce that?
I
Push
don't know
it.
French.
Push it real good.
Poachy chowdy.
Che-
Chowdy.
che-
Poachy chowder.
All right, I'm gonna need a final answer on this.
Hamburger Hill.
Hamburger helper.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Let him drink.
I do like Hollow, something with
I do
Hollow
like
in it.
Bleeding Hollow,
We
honestly.
can go with Bleeding
Yeah.
Hollow.
Let's do that.
And we'll just call it Meat Tree Hill on our own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, it could be the
that's
nickname.
the town center, the hill that the meat tree is
Yeah.
on.
The one.
What's it
Meat
called
Tree
again?
Hill.
Dimitri Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, that's-
Bleeding Hollow.
Bleeding
Okay, so
Hollow.
One Meat Tree Hill is what she said.
Bleeding Hollow. Yeah.
One Mitri Hill. Okay.
That's the town square's name.
Yeah.
And you take
Just the
the
address
street
is
up
One
to
Meat
there
Tree Hill.
to go get
Okay.
your street meat.
Okay. Okay. All right. This last question, and then we're out of here. And I can question my life choices and the social connections I've made over the past 2 years during the pandemic.
We've been waiting years for this, Jeff.
I know.
Sorry, Jeff. Truly.
I don't believe you.
Okay, we've been waiting months for this. Okay.
All right.
It's been like
so,
2 weeks for me.
It's felt like years.
Why did I?
It has
So
been
excited.
2 years.
I
Love you,
can't
Jeff.
actually. You don't roll sand when you're at 0. Okay. So last question is, what do you want to find out? So this is the this is what this means. Like the Haven itself, while you know a bit about it, there are still mysteries to discover. Okay, so there's still, whether it's about the people, whether it's about the various sublocations within your landmark, you know, whether it's about its origins, whatever it might be. These are things that you don't know. Maybe there's like theories of what it might be, maybe there won't be. But what are things that your group wants to learn about the Haven?
So there's mysteries to discover. So does that mean we have a Mr. Tree?
I pity the fool.
That's what saved it.
I'm sorry, Adam Mike cut out. I didn't hear him.
That's all right. It wasn't important.
Where the meat tree came from.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that's number
Where
one.
the
I
meat
think
tree from.
Origins
there's
is
some
easy.
sort of ritual that's keeping the tree alive, but the origins of the meat tree had to come from some sort of creature, right?
Mhm.
We can
Maybe that
delve,
creature's still in the tree.
right.
Okay. So maybe there's something. Maybe you all hear something in the tree from time to time, like in the big trunk
Oh, yeah.
of the tree. You can hear things, and like the question is, what's inside?
And maybe we're all in a big tree that's like even bigger than the meat tree, and like it's all just like a simulation.
Who knows? Maybe the heart itself is really just a bigger tree.
Ooh,
That's basically what I was trying to say. But
we're just
I just said it better. I understood.
Just rings.
yeah, you did. You really did.
So it was teamwork,
Just-
man.
living in a big burrow in a larger meat tree. Would that just be like tree cancer?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. What are other questions we might want to? So we've got origins of the meat tree. What's in the meat tree?
So I mean, this place is cursed. So why is it cursed?
Okay. Why is it cursed? How to lift the curse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why is there that one patch of land that the meat growth won't grow around? Like maybe there's like a little area where there's like still ordinary plants or rocks or some stuff like that.
Yeah, stupid plants. Get out of here. We need meat.
So is that how the curse manifests? So like the idea that there is a section where like meat doesn't grow? Because I know like the meat
Sure.
tree is localized to the one location, and I know that the cutters are trying to spread the meat.
Yeah.
When it came out of my mouth, I knew that was wrong. And see, even explaining it doesn't make it any better. But
Jeff,
there
this is
it
a
is.
family session.
Germinate it.
I don't think there's anyone left, Steven. I think we've scared them all away.
Yeah,
Pete
okay.
Collins.
So how does the curse manifest?
Maybe slight variation. It's not
Violets.
the meat tree is the only thing that can grow like in the area, and other like plants and vegetables have to be grown like further out.
Okay, so meat tree is only thing that can grow. All right, got it. All right, anything else we want to know, like about like certain people or neighbor stuff or anything like that?
I feel like there needs to be something about meat sweats, but I can't figure out how to. Like people have,
That could be a cool disease that's going around.
yeah, a weird
people
disease
get
where
the
they
meat
just have
sweats.
so much meat that they're getting the meat sweats, and so maybe we need to go out and find some carrots or something to
Got the
counteract.
meat pox.
I like
You know,
that.
it's really funny. About 45 minutes ago, I asked Jen a question. She's like, I just can't really get into this with the meat tree thing. And now, 45 minutes later, maybe there's this meat sweat thing just going around. Yeah, okay. And then the one meat tree
mean-
hill thing. Okay. All right.
Once you get like real life meat
You just got to
sweats,
get her going. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Once the meat gets
She
a
just
hold
had
of
an
you.
adjustment period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, was old Iron Eye crazy, or is there really some sentient tree out there that's attacking people?
Is there
Ooh.
a sentient tree monster?
It should be a white tree,
Okay.
the Gondorian or something.
Well, it's the
Yggdrasil? What?
meat
You've got
and
it.
wives. Something like that. Meat wives? No, I'm sorry.
Ant wives, meat wives.
I wouldn't be quiet for a second. I
Yeah,
want
I'm
Chuck
sure.
to have to stew in that just for a little
We
while.
could
I
have
feel
a
like
meat-
he's like
You
stewing
could have a
it.
meat boot.
I feel like he's
Ooh,
gonna
a
start
meat
talking about
boot.
his ex-wife again.
You break out a rash of pepperoni.
Let me tell you about it. She's a vegan.
Okay. All right. I think I have enough for what do you want to find out to go on. Let's see.
And
Other
he's
que-
also had enough of us.
I think he's had enough.
Yeah, he's had enough.
An hour and 45 minutes ago, actually, was where I wrote, why did I choose and agree to do this on my sheet? And then I wrote it like 10 more times over the past hour and a half. It's crazy. It's weird. It's weird how that happens. All right. I think that's it. Unfortunately, we don't have time to start a delve. I mean, we would have, but just all the chain punnage, I think that added about an hour and 10 minutes to our runtime. Just alone on that. So, okay. Any lingering ideas we want to put down on our heart landmark haven here?
Good with it.
Okay.
Think of it throughout the week. I mean, let you know.
No, I'm gonna need a break from you guys. Just gonna need a little me time. Okay,
meat
so
time.
Meat time.
Time.
Boss fight.
Oh no! Everyone came
You
out
got
with
the
it.
beat sweats,
I
guys.
know.
Watch out.
You know that Ben Affleck meme when he gets when he like
Cigarette.
Is a
well,
cigarette
no,
smoking?
when him and Henry Cavill are getting interviewed about like
Oh yeah,
Batman,
the dying inside.
Superman and Batman, and then like Simon and Garfunkel starts playing "Hello Darkness, My Old Friend." I now know what Ben Affleck felt like in that meme. I do. I definitely get it.
Notice how he's trying to compare himself to Ben Affleck. We can't let him get away with that, guys.
If I really wanted to be cocky and arrogant, wouldn't I pick a good actor and someone better than Ben Affleck? Just saying.
I mean, maybe you were just trying to see what you could get away with.
Okay. Anyway, last thing for you all, you need to pick beats. So I want to do this now. So
Beats
that
can't grow here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really confused.
Yep. Let's go to your character sheet. Click on the I that's next to the adventure calling line, and that will bring up your specific calling sheet for that, which will go over some of the options that you have. So you're going to want to pick most likely 2 minor beats. A minor beat is something you would expect to complete within a single session. A major beat will most likely take 2 sessions, and you definitely don't pick any Zenith beats yet. We'll wait a couple sessions before we. Yeah, I'm fine actually with Steven, because that means we can kill your character off in the first 10 minutes of the next session, and then we can just let you go. Great. I mean, you don't even have to show up, to be honest.
Yeah, it'll just be a blank spot on the stream overlay next session, guys. Sorry about that.
So
two minor beats.
I would recommend 2 minor beats, and so these are tangible goals that you want to accomplish next session. You also want to put them up now so that I have them, and so that I can, like, whatever prep I can do, if there's like a very sort of weird or arcane one that you pick, I can try to make sure that there is something geared towards that. There's a very improv driven game, so like we're all kind of improv stuff as we go, but I do have stuff prepped ahead of time, some of it anyway, at least ideas, so I can make sure that you're hitting those beats. Some of them are pretty obvious what you need to do. Others you might have to role play to kind of do it, but it's just sort of you can pick whatever you like, but make sure you do the whole toggle thing, and it'll show up on your sheet, and so you have your 2 beats, and you're ready to go for next time. All right.
I have picked my meat beats.
Same.
So when are we meeting up next?
2
We're
weeks.
doing it every other week, so
Okay.
2 weeks. So
Okay,
the
great.
7th is the next plan. All right.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
Should we do closing
Yeah.
plugs or something or whatever? Should we do that now?
Yeah, we can do closing plugs. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to lead or do you want to end, Adam? What do you prefer?
I'll go ahead and end. So let's
Okay.
let someone else do some talking.
Chuck, what are the defenders doing?
Me, Defenders of Cobalt, twitch.tv/. On Wednesday, we're going to be doing some more Thunder Rift Forbidden Lands. Jeff and Jeremy are there, and we have a very, very evil party that's starting out on a path of conquest, and it's absolutely amazing. Thursday, we're scheduled for some more Curse of Strahd. Friday, we should be back at Anvia play testing, but we'll see where Joe's at. And then next Saturday, we got something for Grim and Perilous earlier in the day. And that night, Jeremy and I will be over on Goodman Games Official as Bert runs us through some more Weird Frontiers.
Yep. Mike, got anything?
Yeah, take a look at our Patreon, as I've been doing some Mechanics Mondays on Heart and learning how to play it and trying to figure it out. So if you want to learn a little bit more of Heart when I learn a little bit more about Heart, check it out.
Yeah. I posted a link of $1 Patreon preview. That's an article that's free that Mike originally wrote about Zweihander. But that'll give you an idea of kind of what you could get with what Mike's doing with Heart now.
Awesome. Jen.
Everybody, I am playing on Tuesday nights with the Grim and Perilous crew. We are currently playing, what's the game?
Tribes of Midgard.
Tribes of Midgard. I I will probably be doing something else in the near future that's not tribes, but we'll see.
All right. Steven?
Jeff, you're the only thing I'm plugging tonight.
Whoa.
We got One Ring every week that I've been playing. It's been a great game. I appreciate you letting me live more than one session. You know, and, you know, I appreciate each session that I get after that.
I know it's hard for people to imagine this from what you saw from Steven tonight over the past 2 hours. But his
It wasn't my
character,
best form.
his character is actually quite good, and he's a wonderful role player. I don't know what happened
You have
to him.
complimented me a couple times tonight. I appreciate
Right, I know,
that.
but I'm definitely doing.
I haven't deserved it tonight.
I'm doing the backhanded compliment though. But we have tomorrow night too. You're in that. Why don't you plug that one for?
Yeah.
For Albert?
Steam Steel Murder, great game, a shadow run with Jeff, Chuck here, and Jake from Defenders of Kobold. That's a bit more like me tonight, not like One Ring Me, you know, where we all just kind of bicker for fun.
Yeah. And Jeremy, you got a Patreon you want to plug, I think.
Yeah, sure. Check out Aaron Race on Patreon. You've got comics, you've got RPG assets, you got maps, tons of art. Good times.
Yeah, and then for me, Adventures in Lollygagging, we're at twitch.tv/the Lollygaggers. You can also find us on YouTube, Adventures in Lollygagging. Let's see, Fridays we normally play Traveler. Saturdays we normally play One Ring, like Steven just said. This coming Monday, when we play Savage Worlds every Monday. This coming Monday we'll be doing Holler, and then like alternate Mondays we do Deadlands, and you can catch some of the faces here in most of the games. But that's it for us. So Adam, it's all you.
Yeah, I'd just like to plug our website. If you want to support us in any which way, shape, or form, you can follow us on any of the links that are on that website. If you purchase any products at all from any of those links, that'll have affiliate links built in there. Some of them are even our own products, so you'll be supporting us. And you know, name of the sorry, I'm losing my words, but yeah, the best way to support us is on Patreon, as we have all sorts of stuff for people. We've got Mike's Mechanics Mondays. We have a Patreon exclusive stream where we're developing a game we're coming out with called Radiator. It's a post-apocalyptic game. You know, certain tier levels get our products for free when they release. I'm sure there's a lot more I'm missing. Oh yeah, Monster of the Month. So there's all sorts of things that you can get from that. It's the best way to support us as we continue to try and make games and play other games that we love to play. So yeah, that's us.
All right, I think that's everybody. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with a brand new GM, continuing Heart. So thanks for everybody who hung out tonight, and we'll see you next time. So bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.